And we're here with Mason Lohrei. Mason, how you doing?
Doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great. You are in the middle of your summer, but as we can see behind you, you're at Ohio State. How is that going? How's the summer for you?
Summer's been good. I actually just got back to school a couple of days ago. So been here this week and just doing rehab and working out. Good to see, all my teammates and friends again.
Now, how's the knee doing? Because I know you mentioned you had a procedure over the off season. You didn't skate at Dev Camp, but you were there. How is that going for you?
It's good. It's going really well. I think tomorrow is the first day I can skate. So I actually have an appointment later today to get cleared. So
you must be pretty pumped though, because I remember you saying at Dev Camp you were dying to get back on the ice. This must be pretty big.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I mean, right? Like you skate your whole life and it's taken away from you for a while. It's looking to get back out there.
You got to find out what do you do when you're off the ice? What are some things you like to do?
Away from the rink or
away from the rink? We'll say away from the rink.
God, I mean, well, normally when my knee's good, I like to surf, like wake surf in the summer, get out on the lake with my buddies. I like playing basketball, hiking, getting out, hunting, fishing, stuff like that.
Because you grew up playing like football, lacrosse, basketball, and soccer. Or no, not basketball, baseball and soccer, right?
Soccer, baseball, yeah.
How did you get into that?
Kind of just, my parents always had me just playing a bunch of different sports, keep me busy. And then, all my friends from school and stuff were playing different sports. So I, that's kind of how I got into all the different things.
Were there any sports in there that you thought, hey, maybe I can go professional? Like what sport out of the four were you like most into or the best at?
I wish I could have played basketball, but it never, because same season as hockey, so it doesn't work. But probably lacrosse. I'm actually wearing a lacrosse shirt right now.
I see that.
But yeah, probably lacrosse. But I'm glad with the path I chose.
Clearly, it's worked out well for you. With lacrosse, did you play that in high school at all? No,
I didn't.
Didn't? No. You just played it growing up.
Yeah, I played. That's when I just went down to one sport. Was high school.
And so what's interesting is you've been to Boston how many times now? Twice? Because 2 dev camps, maybe
twice.
Another?
Exactly.
Twice?
Last 2 summers.
What are some of your favorite things to do in Boston? Any cool things you did this year?
The North End, getting food there. Nothing really beats that. And then I'm trying to think. This year at Dev Camp, we went to Tall Ship. That's a newer thing, but that was really cool. I went to a Red Sox game, which was fun. Sat on the Green Monster. I don't know, just trying to get out and experience everything because I really haven't been there too much.
Is it sort of a surreal feeling going there, being like, hey, this is where I'm going to live this is where I'm going to be playing hopefully someday?
It is. It's pretty cool. Like it's in the back of your mind a little bit. Like, it's the goal to, be here, live here. And it's an unbelievable city. So it's, I'm glad that that's the place that I can aspire to live.
I'm not surprised you like the North End. I imagine the Italian restaurants in the North End are probably a little above, some in the Midwest. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong, but that would be my guess.
Well, you're correct on that one.
So you were born in Baton Rouge, right?
Yeah.
And how did that happen? Like I know your family's from, or you were brought up in Madison. How were you in Baton Rouge?
So my dad coached pro hockey, minor pro in the East Coast League for a while, a bunch of different places. But he was coaching the Baton Rouge Kingfish when I was born. So I was born there, and then my younger sister was born there too before we moved to Pennsylvania.
And your dad coached a lot of different places around the country, whether it be USHL or the old Central Hockey League, different places like that. Did you move with him, or were you always in Madison?
A lot of his coaching was before we were born, me and my sisters. But the places I lived were Baton Rouge, and then we moved to Reading, Pennsylvania. So he got another job, and then after that we went to Madison, and that's where we kind of stuck. he went to Arizona for a couple of years, but I stayed home.
Couldn't leave Wisconsin.
No.
So I know. I imagine he got you into hockey. That would be my guess.
For sure. Yeah. He had skates on me before I could walk.
And you always loved it. You always loved the game?
Always have. It's kind of something. It's pretty cool. It gets a passion that, we share. So that's something that we bond over. And one of the reasons I love it so much is because of him. So.
And growing up in Madison, a lot of hockey, I imagine, a lot of other sports. Was it kind of a typical upbringing in a sense with all that?
Yeah, really normal. I think there's a lot going on. Obviously hockey was, pretty big in Wisconsin, and, getting out on the lakes and stuff in the winter was always fun. But yeah, pretty typical upbringing, just going from sport to sport.
I'm telling you, there's nothing that beats outdoor hockey. There's nothing.
No.
Playing on the lake, you can play in the nicest rink in the world. On a lake, I would take that 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
And I imagine Wisconsin had a lot of nice places like that.
Yeah.
But so you touched on this a little bit with your dad, him being big with hockey and with him. I imagine you mentioned it kind of bonds you guys. Was he kind of pushing you growing up to like, hey, you should really pursue this as what you want to do in the future? Or did you kind of just come into your own with that?
Yeah, it was never like, he never forced it. He's never, it's kind of always been something that I've loved too. So he never was the one, dragging me to the rink. It was always me telling him, let's go, or let's go shoot pucks downstairs. Being young, I'd always be begging him to come downstairs and shoot pucks with me and stuff like that. So. And
you shot pucks, was it in the garage or was it like in the basement?
The basement.
It's always interesting to see where people shoot pucks. Cause I was out. I mean, I'm obviously, I was outside, I did it there, but Sidney Crosby did it into like, dryers. That was the big thing. Did you have a thing you shot it into, or was it just a board?
We had a net and down in the unfinished basement. We had it in the net, and I'd shoot off we had like an old countertop that we put down in the basement. So
was that like the synthetic ice you shot off of?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's terrific.
Countertop.
That's so funny. That's perfect. And we were kind of born around the same time, so we had access to like the synthetic ice slips you pick up at like the sports store. That's so great that you use like granite countertop. I'm sure your parents were so pumped about that. It's interesting. Your mom is a business owner, right?
She does. She has her own small business.
And what is it?
It's called Skate Armor.
Ooh, so it's also hockey?
So when I was younger, I got like a stick to the neck, and it cut me. And it wasn't bad, but like it just kind of got my mom thinking about, like skates and sticks and stuff like that. And no kids really like wear neck guards.
Mm-hmm.
It's not huge, and just because like they're uncomfortable and stuff. So she kind of took it upon herself to make her own. So she made her own, got it patented, got, B&Q certified, all that stuff. And so yeah, now she sells neck guards all around the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's actually very cool. And do you wear one?
I don't anymore, but she makes wrist guards too.
Oh,
they're like cut resistant, and then there's the pad, like the slash protector. So I wear those. I wear her wrist guards. That's
very cool. Always supporting mom. You have to. At that point, you have to.
And you get slashed, it helps out.
That probably does make a huge difference, especially like, because you get older, slashes get way harder. The NHL, I imagine it's going to be, like tree trunks hitting your wrist. So I imagine that definitely helps out. Maybe when you come, do you ever, this is weird, but like when you're on a team, do you like tell the guys like, hey, my mom makes these like sick wrist guards. You guys should like try them out.
There's like a couple of my buddies and stuff on my teams. I'll say, oh, like, what is that? And so, yeah, there's a couple guys that use them too. And then she actually billeted some kids.
Oh, wow.
In the USHL in the Madison Capitals. So the kids that lived with her started wearing them too. just because she'd give them to them for free, and they ended up liking them. So
she's like, "You're not living with me if you don't wear these. This is not. We're not doing this.
exactly.
If this is going to be the
That's
situation."
one condition you have to wear.
It's the one condition. We'll get you food, everything, but you got to wear the wrist guards. You're majoring in business, right?
I haven't chosen my major yet, but I'm in the business school here.
And is that like a passion of yours too, in a sense, business, and kind of seeing your mom do that?
I'm not exactly sure.
Well, yeah, you're only a sophomore. You don't have to know.
I don't have to choose. I don't have to choose a true major to the end of this year, but I was direct admin to the business school, so I kind of just figured I'd go with that for a little bit.
Hey, it never hurts to learn some business knowledge. So now
exactly.
you got it, and you can.
It'll help at some point. So
it'll definitely help at some point. So when growing up, I mean, you have a dad who's big into hockey, a mom who has a hockey business. Obviously, hockey is kind of everything to you guys. When do you realize, okay, like I'm gonna like actually pursue this?
I mean, I can remember like being as young as I can remember, just like wanting to play in the NHL and knowing, kind of like in my mind, like knowing like I'm going to play in the NHL. So then, you go through adversity and stuff throughout your career. And I always just kind of thought, like, I never thought that I wouldn't, just because it's always been a dream of mine. So.
Yeah. I mean,
really, it starts to hit you as you, accomplish more things, just like as you go from high school to junior, and then in juniors I got drafted, and then you go to dev camp, and then you're playing in college, and
you're like, oh my god.
Exactly, like it happens fast, but it's
is it how you planned it, in a sense? Are things going according to plan? It sounds like they kind of are.
I'd say so, yeah.
So growing up, I mean, was there a lot of training even at a very young age, like knowing you wanted to do this? Or was it kind of like I know you said all along you wanted to go to the NHL, but was there a point where it really became serious, or was it always very serious?
I mean, that's the thing, is like I loved it, so it was always just fun. It was never like serious, like, you have to go to the rink and train today.
Yeah.
I would be, I wouldn't leave the rink. My dad, where I went to high school, Culver, there's a summer camp there, and my dad would run the rink in the summer. And so I'd just be around the rink all day, and I'd be, skating, and I'd like train, I guess. I was young, but go out there like twice a day, and then I'd do like the skating classes.
And that must have put you so much ahead of everybody at your age.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it was just something I loved doing. Just loved being out there all the time.
All right. I hope you're all enjoying this interview with Mason Lohrei. I do have to stop it for a second because our next partner has a product I use literally every day. I started taking Athletic Greens, one, because I wanted better gut health and more energy. I don't drink coffee or use caffeine because I wanted healthier, natural energy, and AG1 has been providing it in droves. It doesn't taste like it's super healthy or anything either. It has a mild tropical taste that I actually look forward to each morning. So what is this stuff? With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced ingredients, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. All the things you can think of, it helps it out. It's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything, while still tasting really good. This all supports better sleep quality and mental clarity. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Again, 5 free travel packs and a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Bruins. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/Bruins to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. All right, now Back to the interview. Yeah. And so you end up at Culver. How did that happen? Was it because your dad ran the rink that you just felt like I'm going there? Or was there's, because I know it's a military academy.
So I'd grown up every summer going there because of my dad running the rink. And you just kind of fall in love with the place. I mean, anyone that's been there and spent time there would agree with me. It's pretty special. And I learned that at a young age. So, when the time came, I went my freshman year at home to high school and had some adversity with the hockey stuff, like getting cut by my AAA team and then by the high school team. And I kind of just like time to get out of here and, new scenery, challenge myself a little bit. And I had already some pretty good friends that were at Culver. So applied and decided to go there for 3 years.
One of those was my goodness, Dominic Vidoli, right? From your current team. He was on that team. He was on Culver. So you mentioned freshman year with high school at your own town high school. You got cut?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how impactful was that for your career and for you?
It was, definitely a lot of adversity. Like I'd been playing AAA for a while, and I was still forward at the time. But I got cut from my AAA team in the summer, like June, for the upcoming year. And then I was like, okay, I guess I'll just play high school. And I'm thinking I'm going to play varsity. I'll make the varsity team as a freshman. And tryouts come around, and they put me on the JV team.
Oh, geez.
So I don't know. My dad would always tell me, stay the course, which is kind of something that he's always told me, and it sticks with me. Just, there's a plan, and, as long as you do everything you can to get better, just stay the course. Yeah. So then I played JV, and then I decided to go to Culver, where I was still a forward and barely made the U16 team. And I was getting scratched like every other game until we had 2 defensemen break their collarbones.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And so I told our coach, I was like, hey, I'll play D if you need me to.
And how was the transition to that?
Pretty smooth. One day at practice, he just said, jump in for this drill. And it was a 2-on-1 drill. And I remember I jumped in and was breaking up like every pass. And which doesn't happen anymore, but but that day something was going on. So I just stuck with it. And I'm glad I did.
Was that kind of like a shift for you? Like, oh shoot, like there's a whole new beginning for me. Was it like, were there differences like for you with being a forward? Obviously on D, you're an offensive defenseman. But with forward, was there like holes in your game that kind of got patched away because you became a defenseman?
Definitely. Definitely holes in, I remember that year, like I had just grown a little bit. So I wasn't a great skater. And then just like, physicality wasn't very physical. Just stuff like that. But then it's kind of, it's a different game from back on D. You see the ice a lot better. And I feel like hockey sense is, one of my better traits. And so I just kind of got to see the ice and see the game a little differently. And I think that changed a lot of things for me. And
you can kind of command the game a bit more. Exactly. As opposed to being on the wing. You're not receiving the passes, you're kind of making them, which I guess in some ways is much not easier, but it's a different perspective that obviously.
I felt it was easier. Like I'd tell anyone, I was like, playing D is way easier than playing forward.
Well, it's funny growing up, like, when you're a defenseman and they put you up on forward, you're just, like you just, as a forward, you're just like out of breath. On D, you have time that you can actually like, just kind of, catch your breath a bit back there. It's not, you're not as in it as much.
Yeah. Like a 40-second shift for D is typically way easier than a 40-second shift for a forward.
Oh, yes. Yes. So you're Culver and you're emerging as a defenseman. When does the USHL become kind of on your radar?
I remember, my first year at first year at Culver. Like I had friends and stuff that were pretty good players and were committed to schools already that were talking about, the USHL draft and stuff, the futures draft. And I never really thought, I knew that I had just got, I played forward until February and was getting scratched. And I hadn't talked to any team, so I didn't expect anything. So that year goes by, and then that next year, my second year at Culver, was when things kind of took off that way. Like I committed that year to school here and was talking to a lot of USHL teams. And so I kind of knew I was going to get drafted, and that's, at that moment in time, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's a pretty big thing.
Yeah.
And so did you notice a huge difference between the USHL and what you were doing at Culver? Like, was the pace a lot more impactful, or what was kind of the deal there?
Yeah, that was a pretty big jump, I'd say. But then again, like as a D, I remember playing my first USHL game, and everyone's so much bigger and stronger and faster than in just high school hockey, basically. But you're playing with a lot, better players that are also bigger, faster, stronger, smarter, more skilled. So it makes the game easier, especially as a D. Like guys are always there, ready for the puck. So that, the jump was tough a little bit at first, but kind of get used to it.
And that was your first year, right? Second year, you won Defenseman of the Year, correct?
Yes.
And that was like between those 2 years, when the year that you won Defenseman of the Year, did you feel like I've taken a huge jump? Like I'm going to have a really good year this year? I mean, were you kind of almost surprised by it or no?
No, I don't think I was surprised. That first year is definitely, I got a couple of games in at the end of my senior year of high school. Mm-hmm. So I went in knowing the league a little bit, what to expect. And that first year, I just kind of learned. Throughout the year, I learned and, tried to get better every practice, every game. And, the second half of the year went pretty well for me. And so then, trained hard all summer and going into that second year, I kind of just wanted
into your own.
I wanted to dominate. That was.
Yeah. So. And so when did college hockey come into this? When did that sort of enter your mind?
I remember after my first year at junior, just talking that's when I signed my NLI because school was talking about bringing me in that year, but decided not to and go back and play another year junior, which I'm happy about because I think, got to work on my game, just in different areas of my game and get stronger and more confident.
Kind of like how this year you elected to stay at Ohio State and not go straight to
exactly, and then even
similar type of thing. And
then even in high school, I elected to stay another year at Culver instead of going to Waterloo. It would have been.
And so, what was it about Ohio State? What was it that drew you in?
God, to be honest with you, it was my first offer, and it was my first college visit. And so, that was pretty cool. Like, even just like coming to like Big Ten school, like the facilities, everything. It's like huge school. I knew I wanted to go to, kind of a bigger school. I just loved, campus, the facilities, and then kind of what put it over the edge was the coaching staff, so knowing them
and you guys are big in the Big Ten. Like you guys are obviously a very legit team in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that's that I think the year I committed, that's when they made it to the Frozen Four. They were, top 3 in the country. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me at the time.
And so now you're in Ohio State. You've done a year there. Obviously you had a terrific freshman year, points wise, kind of everything wise. Are there guys that you watch in college or in the NHL that you try to emulate? Like, oh, I really want a part of this guy's game, or, oh, I like what this guy's doing. Anything like that?
Yeah, I think you kind of just got to be a student of the game in that way. right? Like I love watching all the best defensemen in the league and just taking little things from here and there. So I mean, guys that I watch a lot would be guys like Hedman, McCarr, McAvoy. I like watching Shea Theodore a lot.
I can see the resemblance.
I'm trying to think. Those are probably the top four guys. Like when they're on, I love them. Or like if they come to town here in Columbus, Werenski, just because I'm here, so I get to, we go to games sometimes.
Have you had a chance to talk to any of them?
I haven't. No, none of them.
Well, maybe they'll someday. You probably will, because
maybe one day.
So maybe one day. Maybe one day. But it's interesting because you had this great freshman year. Did you feel a huge jump from the USHL to college, or did you kind of almost feel yourself so prepared for it that you were able to take those steps that you did this past year?
I think I prepared myself pretty well. And obviously, going back to junior for another year was, I think, huge, just in, being able to come in and make an impact right away. Obviously, it's a jump, but I remember we played a preseason game against Western Michigan. And that was kind of like, that I didn't do too hot in that game. I don't know if it was because I was nervous or just first game or something, but after that, I kind of got it together with our first weekend series at Bentley and kind of just rolled from there.
Yeah, I have to imagine that first preseason college game is like, whoa, like this is very different from what I'm used to in a sense.
Exactly, yeah.
But so another thing you mentioned at Dev Camp was that you have a group chat with like all the other D prospects with the Bruins.
Yeah.
And you guys send clips back and forth of like good and bad plays.
Yeah. So it's with Adam McQuaid and Jamie Langenbrunner. And then it's all the prospects. So Adam will clip some film from, different guys' games, stuff that they do, typically the good stuff. And
that'd be tough if you guys just were roasting people in the group chat.
Yeah,
exactly. This guy stinks.
And share it with all of us and kind of write out a little message about, what he likes and what that player did well.
How important has he been on your development?
He's been unbelievable to work with. I mean, so many just little details that he teaches that make huge impact in defending and just playing the game. Like this year, really focused on my stick, like having my stick out and on the ice and, taking away passing lanes, taking away time and space with my stick. And it really helped. And it's just like stuff you can notice once you get it down, which helps. So I'm excited to work with him again this year.
And so that's one of the things you're definitely because I know you mentioned you want to go back to Ohio State to win a national championship, obviously. Mm-hmm. But for you personally, one thing you mentioned is, your stick play. Is there anything else that you're looking to gain a little bit of improvement in your stick?
Yeah, I think I'm always trying to improve all aspects of my game, offensively and defensively. But the main things I've kind of just always focused on are, speed, explosiveness, and then just physicality. So, definitely throughout the year, I talked a lot with Adam about physicality and, finishing checks in the right situations. And that's, something I'm looking forward to keep working on this year. And I think it'll
continue.
I just think I think it'll help me a lot, throughout this year. And then as I make the jump to pro hockey too.
And do you feel like in some way, like as an offensive guy, rushing the puck, running the power play, those types of things, you almost feel like you have that advantage because you used to be a forward? Like you see the game almost in a different sense like that? I
think so. Yeah. I think, I played forward for 16 years of my life. So it's, I mean, I love offense and I love, making plays and, setting up my teammates. So,
breaking the puck out, doing those things.
Yeah, exactly.
Breaking plays up.
The puck out. So.
But another thing is, you're obviously a highly ranked or highly rated Bruins prospect. You're a guy that is high in the system. People kind of have high hopes for and all those things. Do you ever feel the pressure of that? Do you ever think like, okay, I got some pressure on me? Or do you ever get curious and like check out rankings? Like, oh, let's see where I am this time. Or is it no, like you just step away from it?
No, I don't pay attention to that stuff really. I mean, every once in a while you'll see or hear something, or one of my buddies will like show me something, but I just kind of look at it and shake it off, and whatever it is, good or bad, I just in one ear out the other. But just because, like I said, I mean, it's always been my dream to play in the NHL, and I'm going to do everything I can to make it there. So what other people have to say doesn't really matter to me, I guess.
Keeping it focused at Ohio State. What do you think of the Big Ten this year? You think how do you feel you guys fare in the whole?
I mean, it's always a good league, and anyone can beat anyone any weekend. So you got to bring your A game every weekend. But I think, I know we got a good group, and I think we're going to do pretty well this year. Got, a lot of good players coming back, some new players coming in. But like I said, you gotta bring it every weekend, because any one of the other 6 teams has deep rosters that have a lot of good players. So
no Georgi Merkulov this year for you guys. So
no Ghosh.
up with Providence.
Yeah, he's here right now with us. We were working out this morning, but
that's terrific. He was so fun at development camp. He was great for everybody to get to talk to, and he was a funny guy. And I know you said he was a funny guy, so
he is. Yeah,
should be interesting to see how far that humor goes, because I imagine he's a pretty funny guy. So lastly, what's the plan for the rest of the summer? What do you got going on? What's the training regimen? Kind of things like that.
Yeah, like I said, I just got back to school, so kind of for me, almost summer's kind of over. Kind of in that, it's season time now. I can skate tomorrow for the first time, and so it's just going to be a lot of rehab still, working out, and getting back to being on the ice. See if I remember how to skate.
Hopefully, that'd be unfortunate if you just didn't know how to skate anymore. Yeah. Your dad's like, we're bringing you back to Culver. I'm taking you to one of these skating classes again. But anyways, good luck this year, Mason. Enjoy. Good luck with the knee rehab and everything, and hopefully you remember how to still skate. You'll let us know. I imagine if you don't, you will let us know. Perfect. But seriously, Mason, have a great rest of the summer. Enjoy your second year.
You too. Thank you very much.